Disneyland has a dark secret. After the park closes, something lurks on Tom Sawyer Island. Something that isn't human. Something that was never meant to exist. Two friends stayed there overnight. Only one came back. Whispers in the Dark presents Disneyland's Dark Secret. Greg and Brandon were best friends. It was June 1989, and school had just let out for summer. Every year, to mark the start of their break, they'd visit the happiest place on Earth, Disneyland. But that summer would be different. Brandon's rusted Dodge Dakota clattered down the road. He parked a few houses from Greg's place. Greg's parents had never liked him because they thought he was reckless. Seconds later, Greg came bursting out the front door, backpack slung over one shoulder. He jogged down the sidewalk and jumped into the truck without a word. They arrived at the park promptly as it was opening. The day went by in a blur of rides, junk food, and laughter. But as the sun started to dip and the park lights flickered on, Greg began glancing at his watch. "Park's closing soon," he said casually. Brandon scoffed. "What's the rush? Didn't you tell your parents you were staying at my place?" That's when Brandon pitched the idea. "Hey, let's hide out on Tom Sawyer's Island and see the park after hours." Greg hesitated. He never broke rules, but deep down, he admired Brandon's recklessness. And after some convincing, he agreed. They boarded the last ferry of the day and slipped into the trees unnoticed. It was nearly 1 a.m. when they decided to leave. The park was dead silent. As they stood up, brushing off their jeans, Greg froze. There was someone else on the island. A figure stood at the edge of the clearing, completely still, watching them. Assuming it was a security guard, they nervously shuffled forward, rehearsing excuses. But as they got closer, the smell hit them. A thick, choking rot that wrapped around their throats like a scarf on a cold winter night. A few yards away now, the dim light revealed a bloated, pale face twisted in agony, incessantly vomiting up water. The boys froze, muscles locked, breathing shallow. The thing's skin looked like wet paper, barely clinging to its frame. Its eyes were sunken in, and its gaze was void and empty. It attempted to speak, but only the sound of frantic gasping and gargling could be heard. Suddenly, it lunged forward, its arms trembling as it reached toward them. Maggots tore through its thin, waterlogged skin and fell at the boys' feet. Greg snapped out of it and grabbed Brandon. They ran, sprinting toward a cave in the distance. Inside, they huddled together, whispering questions neither could answer. "What was that thing?" Brandon asked through quivering lips as he started to sob, quietly at first, then louder. Outside, they heard the thing stumbling around erratically, tripping over itself as it desperately searched for them in the woods nearby. It paced around impatiently, then began to walk away, until Brandon started to sob again. The figure whipped its head around in the direction of the boys. It arched its back violently, let out a garbled scream, and began to charge the cave. In a panicked haste, they realized they only had one option: run. They sprinted for the water to get off the island. Every stride they took was accompanied by heavy footsteps and panting directly behind them. Out of breath, they reached the shore and dove in. The water was freezing. The darkness felt endless. Every muscle screamed as they powered through the long, foreboding stretch of water. Greg, who had taken the lead, heard a chilling scream. He turned around just in time to see Brandon being forcefully pulled underwater. A few seconds went by, seconds that felt like an eternity. Brandon resurfaced, thrashing desperately. His eyes were wide with terror as he screamed for help. "Help me, Greg, please help me," he cried out. Then in one violent tug, he disappeared into the dark, cold abyss. Gone. Greg reached the far shore, alone, Splash Mountain, shaking, gasping, broken. Park employees found him the next morning, huddled in a corner, unable to speak. And to this day, security frequently reports hearing strange noises coming from Tom Sawyer's Island at night, splashing, gurgling, and someone calling for help.